And for more, let's turn to Philip Turle from our International Affairs Desk. Philip, how bad is it in France?
Well, if you compare France to other European countries, the situation appears to be pretty bad. I mean, the only country that has more cases every day at the moment is Spain. I'll give you some figures if you like. There are 31,416 deaths in France, 35,000 in Italy. So they're slightly ahead of France. Of course, the biggest death toll is in the UK with 41,000. But over the last 24 hours in France, there've been another 10,000 cases. It's pretty much 10,000 one day, it was 5,000 yesterday. We've been up to 12, 15,000 in a day. So the authorities are getting very worried that we're seeing a spike in cases, and a pretty big spike in cases in France over the last couple of weeks, because over the months of July and August, the figures were down to like 1,000 to 2,000 cases a day, which is already quite a lot. But what the authorities don't want, Francois, is for this to overrun the hospitals, for the intensive care units not to be able to cope with a threatened increase in the number of patients. So measures have got to be introduced to try to stop the spike continuing in France, but it's going to be no easy task.
No easy task. And as you mentioned, there's been waves, right? There was obviously the initial onslaught, there was the lockdown, there was summer, back to school. Now we're definitely entering a new phase, particularly since I can't help but notice the weather. It's been exceptionally dry throughout the spring and summer. As of tonight, it started to rain in the French capital. It's the beginning of fall. No more outdoor terraces for many.
Well, you've got the period where there was the first lockdown in March, April, and May, where we were moving towards the summer. So in the Northern Hemisphere, the days are getting longer and warmer, so people can go outside if they had a garden. Now we're the other way round, where the days are drawing in and it's getting colder. And of course that, as you were correct in saying, is leading to fears that people being indoors may make it easier for the virus to spread. And that's why we're seeing, for example, probably in about an hour's time, announcements from Olivier Véran, the health minister, that gatherings of over 10 people are going to be banned from maybe the end of this week, which is seriously going to undermine those who are planning on getting married. But if you listen to the experts, they're saying if you're looking at a wedding, for example, where are the infections happening? They're not happening while you're sitting around the dinner table. They're not happening in the church. They're happening when you're on the dance floor, because you're dancing, you're breathing more heavily, you're breathing out these particles, and that's where people are getting infected, and that's going to have to stop. So bars and restaurants will have to close from 10 maybe, or even earlier than that. No alcohol being sold after 8 o'clock. So pretty stringent measures in certain areas of the country. This is not a nationwide lockdown. The most important thing here, Francois, is that the government wants to keep the economy going. They don't want it to shut down like it did during the first lockdown. That would be suicidal for France. It can't cope with a second lockdown. So it's a balancing act between how can we stop the virus progressing, but how can we keep the economy going at the same time?